Good day, everyone. I am Niño Ybañez from the University of the Philippines, Cebu City, Philippines. And my study is entitled Challenges and Opportunities in Remote Learning Physical Education. Let us start with the problem and its scope. With the developments in the world today, especially with the spreading of the coronavirus 19, which has been declared by the WHO as a pandemic, the education sector of the nation has been vastly affected. With the risk of getting the feared virus, face-to-face or physical setting of classes cannot be made into a reality. With this global health crisis, the teaching and learning process has been modified in such a way that quality education will be delivered to the learners without sacrificing their health. The adaptation of remote learning has been the national trend of lesson delivery in the COVID-19 pandemic. Remote learning is a process wherein the teacher and the learners are doing the teaching and learning processes in different locations. This has made the process of teaching and learning more personalized and flexible, delivering what is ought to be delivered in the comfort of the students' residences. In the current pandemic, the remote teaching of PE has been difficult. Varea and Gonzalez Calvo emphasized that bodies now mainly exist on screens and at homes. Tasks and performances in line with physical education has been switched to online mode. As a result, activities that requires a hands-on approach, such as physical education, could be problematic for teachers and students. With these changes, learners who are used to face-to-face medium of lesson delivery have faced difficulties with the altering of the learning setup. This study described the experiences of students in the remote learning physical education. Let us go to the research methodology, starting with the design. This study utilized the qualitative type of research, specifically a qualitative descriptive design. The researcher collected data from key informants and arrived at a comprehensive summary of data describing the experiences of learners learning physical education remotely. This study was participated by students at the University of the Philippines, Cebu, enrolled in remote learning physical education. The students were selected based on set criteria. 6 students were chosen for the study, and they were from different degree programs. They also lived in different areas in Cebu province and other areas in Visayas and Mindanao's region. Data were collected through semi-structured one-on-one interview with a set of guide questions. The interviews were done via Google Meet and Zoom, depending upon the availability and convenience on the student's end. Data were analyzed using Brown and Clark's technique of thematic analysis. Moreover, WebMonkey software was also utilized by the researcher to validate the study. For the results and discussion, the experiences of the students in remote learning physical education were clustered into 3 main themes, starting with the first theme, which is all about online technology-assisted application on physical education instruction. This theme explains the nature of teaching physical education in the remote learning setup. Because of the pandemic, teachers must shift to another forms of teaching. The first theme has 3 sub-themes, starting with the implementation of phone-based learning applications, which emphasize that students are learning with the use of an app installed in their cellular phones. Use of online learning platforms is the second sub-theme of the first theme, particularly focusing on the utilization of online learning platforms in the remote learning setup of physical education. Students have shared that they have been using varied online learning platforms that have helped them in accessing their modules much easier. Performance assessment through video production and online submissions is the last sub-theme for the first theme, articulating the nature of the subject in the remote setup. To substitute live demonstrations or direct performances, performance assessment in the remote learning setup appears through video submissions, and students have expressed that they are required by the teacher to record and submit their videos online. The second theme of the study revolves around the challenges in the online remote learning setup of physical education encountered by the students. This theme explains the difficulties and problems encountered by the students in the teaching learning process of physical education in the remote learning scheme. Limitations in learning resources is the first sub-theme, explaining the challenge of the students in terms of limited learning resources. With the nature of the remote learning being online, students are required to have learning resources such as gadget and internet connectivity. Personal challenges circulate on the variety of difficulties that are personally disrupting the students in the learning process. With their first-hand experience in learning PE course remotely, the students have articulated that they have had trouble in managing time, especially with regards to balancing all the needs and demands of all of their classes. Mental health is also a personal issue stated by the students. Students expressed that they feel so alone in doing the activities, unlike the face-to-face scheme of learning. The aloneness felt by the students had made them lose their zeal and enthusiasm in doing the activities. Another personal challenge faced by the students is the lack of interest in the subject. Students mentioned that the exhaustive nature of the learning setup, accompanied by the solitude that they feel whenever doing the activities, made them lose their interest in the subject. Social challenge is the last sub-theme for the second theme, focusing on the struggles of the students in having a well-defined communication and interaction with their classmates. Students have spoken on the awkwardness that they experience whenever they want to interact with their classmates and teachers, especially for the freshmen. The geographical distance of the students have made it difficult to interact with each other, and virtual communication is not easy to do for the students. Another social challenge faced by the students is the lack of proper feedback and proper guidance. Students have verbalized their need for feedback and guidance. They said that without proper feedback, they seem to lose their interest in the subject. Lack of proper feedback has also made the students lose track of their improvements and the aspects that need corrections. The last theme focuses on the appreciation to online physical education courses. This theme explains the positive responses of the students despite the difficulties that they have encountered in the current learning setup. This theme is made up of three sub-themes, starting with teacher proactiveness, which refers to the appreciation of the students to the efforts of their teacher in making their learning environment bearable. Students have mentioned that they appreciate the fact that the teachers cheer them up and encourage them to do their best. Moreover, students also appreciate the lenience and understanding that their teachers have shown in the current learning setup. Independent learning involves the students' appreciation to the current learning scheme. With remote learning being an independent learning style in general, students verbalized the fact that they were able to appreciate the freedom that was given to them in doing the tasks based on their own pace and convenience. The last sub-theme of the last theme talks about the opportunities for personal development. Students revealed that even if remote learning setup of physical education is relatively tiring, it has given them the opportunity to develop themselves. It has been an avenue for them to learn new things and an avenue to have meaningful experiences while learning. In conclusion, based on the findings of the study, the researcher concluded that the experiences of the students enrolled in remote learning physical education can be described into three general classifications: experienced learning through alternative learning, implementation of physical education courses, faced challenges in the remote learning setup, and expressed appreciation to online physical education courses. Despite the difficulty that the students have encountered with the shift from traditional face-to-face to remote learning, including internet connectivity, lack of proper feedback and communication, and issues involving mental health, the learning of physical education did not stop. The students were still able to do the physical education activities and were able to appreciate the course through appreciation of their teachers' proactiveness and treated the course as an avenue for personal development. As per the recommendation, based on the conclusion, it was recommended that the students must be equipped with the necessary learning resources that are needed in the current learning setup for a successful and efficient learning experience. Moreover, it is also recommended for the students to have a more established means of communication to improve the online learning environment. Students must be further encouraged in a way that they will be able to communicate with their classmates and peers in the virtual learning classroom. Furthermore, teachers should be establish a clear feedback mechanism so that the students would be able to keep track of their progress and developments. That would be all. Thank you so much, and padayon. This has been Niño Ybañez from the University of the Philippines, Cebu. Thank you so much.